Steve was talking about you're the oldest guy on this roster now.
Stop reminding me.
LeBron said everything should go through you to make you feel so much more important on this team. Yeah.
What did I do with the fish?
My first conversation with Zion was a couple weeks ago, and I said, look, man, don't f this up on me.
Are you going to be in the playoffs?
You really going to ask me that?
I want to sit down so bad. I feel like a president here.
You thought about having everybody wear the "Hello, my name is" tags?
Like the helmet in the NFL.
You know, everyone talking about the big winners of the summertime. Is it the Nets? Is it the Clippers? Is it the Lakers? It's actually Staples Center.
This NBA season is going to be wild. Friday was the first time we got to see the ultimate tandem in the purple and gold as AD and LeBron on full display at Staples Center for Media Day. Keep in mind, LeBron missed a good part of last season, and even though he's more eager than ever to get back on that court after watching the playoffs on the sidelines like the rest of us, he's not afraid to defer when it comes to the brow. Take a listen.
If we're not playing through Anthony Davis while he's on the floor, then it makes no sense to have him on the floor because he's that great. And it doesn't mean like every time down, we throw it to him and throw it to him and throw it to him, but we have the ability to do that. And he's been very efficient in his career.
I'm excited just to get started. And then for what LeBron said, it's very, very kind of him. We're going to, I think, feed off each other tremendously. I think we're two guys who are very selfless and just want to win. And when you have two guys like that, it makes both of our jobs a lot easier.
All right, Max, tell me this. Do LeBron's comments say more about the King himself or his new teammate, Anthony Davis?
Anthony Davis. And it says a lot about both guys. I'll leave LeBron to Stephen A. because it says a lot of good things about LeBron, too. But it says more about Anthony Davis, and I'll tell you why. Stephen A., let's talk about some of the guys that LeBron James has played with. Is Chris Bosh going to the Hall of Fame one day?
Yes.
Yes, he is. And does he deserve it?
Yes.
Yes, he does. Chris Bosh was a great player. LeBron played with Chris Bosh in Chris Bosh's prime. Is Dwayne Wade going to the Hall of Fame one day?
With ease. First ballot Hall of Fame.
Is he a top 5 player ever at his position?
Yes.
And he played with LeBron around his prime. Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, all these guys were not just star players, but Kevin Love, before he got to Cleveland, was like, is he a top 5 player in the league? Even if that was misguided. He's an excellent player.
We didn't know because he was in Minnesota and going home at the beginning of April.
And yet, as the best player on a Minnesota team that wasn't very good, they were 500 in a loaded Western Conference, and he was putting up 26 points, 15 boards, like Popeye numbers, right? LeBron never said this about any one of those guys. Never said it about any one of those guys. Know why? Because none of them were as good as Anthony Davis. Dwayne Wade in his prime has a case. But I think when all is said and done, AD, barring injury, is going down ahead of every single guy I just mentioned. Perennial all-star like Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, who may still be an MVP one day, let's see, and who's a champion, Chris Bosh, Hall of Famer, Dwayne Wade, elite Hall of Famer. LeBron never played with AD before. AD is a dude, when healthy, will give you on a nightly basis 28, 12, and 3 blocks a game with like a PER, which, like the advanced metrics, leading or second or third in the league. And all this while playing some of the greatest defense we've ever seen by the position. And what's the position? Because he could be a 4 or a 5, but let's take him as a 4. AD has a chance. Let's see how the championships go down. But he's chasing Tim Duncan as the greatest power forward ever. He doesn't have the accomplishments yet. But in terms of who you would take on any given night in the history of basketball, you got guys like Garnett and obviously Barkley and Malone and these McHale. Tim Duncan leading the pack. Are you sure any of those guys are as good as Anthony Davis is right now? Maybe, maybe not. AD is that great. And that's why LeBron saying this about him, when he's never said it about anyone else, actually says more about AD.
Well, there's nothing to disagree about with your point. I just think that you're missing the point that I'm going to make. If you want to make a case about Anthony Davis in a very fun kind of way, Let's take this into consideration. One of the most popular coaches in the history of college basketball is a gentleman by the name of John Calipari. Coached at UMass, coached at Memphis, coached at Kentucky, has been coaching over 20 some odd years. He has one national championship on his resume. Who delivered it? It would happen to be Anthony Davis. Didn't have it with John Wall. Didn't have it with DeMarcus Cousins. Didn't have it with Derrick Rose. Didn't have it with a whole bunch of people. DeMarcus Camby's, Lou Rose, and all of them when I was covering them. But Anthony Davis delivered them a national championship. Anthony Davis has been a winner in basketball all his life until he got to the NBA and was playing at the Smoothie King Arena. Now he goes to the Staples Center. And we talk about the unibrow, not realizing the fact that when you talk about the unibrow, that's actually doing a disservice to him because it takes away from the greatness of his game. This brother is one of the top 5 players on the planet Earth. It is not debatable what he brings to the table. And the lowest he has ever shot in his career is 49% from the field. The lowest. And oh, by the way, he ain't dunking on everybody all the time. He's been shooting 33, 34% from 3 the last 2 years. This brother's got the versatility. He is all world. But this is why it says more about LeBron James, despite his greatness. Because number one, LeBron James turns 35 December 30th. He's looking at his own basketball mortality. LeBron James ain't ready to walk away. LeBron James is committed to the Lakers for another 2 years minimum, likely 3. He knows that in order for him to be successful, he's got to lean on somebody else. And so his willingness to do so and to publicize the fact that he's doing so gives you insight to him looking at himself and recognizing as great as he is and as great as I believe he will be this year. I think that LeBron James has a chance. He's going to be my favorite to win MVP honors this year. I think he's going to be a man on a mission. I think missing the playoffs has been the best thing that could have happened to him physically. And I think that he's going to come out like an absolute monster. But even he knows I have to lean on Anthony Davis because I can't go against Kawhi and Paul George. I can't go against Lillard and those boys in Portland. I can't go against Denver. I can't go against Russell Westbrook and James Harden. I can't go against even Utah. I can't go against all these damn people and carry the load that I've been carrying. I need somebody else to be that dude. That doesn't mean that Anthony Davis will be the number one option when it counts, meaning as the season wanes, playoff stuff like that. But I think he's saying that because he wants everybody to look forward to the vast majority, that chunk of the season from October towards April, into March and stuff like that. I'm going to lean on this brother because I need this brother to carry me.
I hear what you're saying about LeBron's age. I want to say something about AD, then I want to address that. AD is also clutch. We don't usually think of big men as clutch because, as we saw with Antetokounmpo, harder for them to get their own shot and everything. But I remember them going to San Antonio, and San Antonio had something to play for, home court in the playoffs. And Tim Duncan and company and AD got him last game of the season. Like, with the chips on the line, I think he plays well. But, Stephen A., when you say all that about LeBron and it's his age and everything and he recognizes I think there's more to it than that. See, LeBron has always been, to me, like, Magic and MJ had a baby, and it was LeBron James. He's not, his first instinct is not to score. It's just that he's so great at scoring that he has to take on that burden a lot of the time with the game on the line included, just because it's a better chance that his team wins. He's a team player. But LeBron, if you say what's underneath it all, right? Like, why does it rub some people the wrong way? Even the comparison to MJ, right? Kobe, those guys are killers. Because LeBron has that magic in him. He wants to hook up his teammates. He's never gotten to play with a guy like AD before.
You're wrong. You went too far.
He's never gotten to
stop right
feed
there.
that guy.
Stop right there. You went too far. Now you went too far, and here's why. And I've said this before. When I sit up there and I say, under no circumstances is LeBron James in MJ's class in my mind. Understand, I'm not looking at LeBron James now and saying you're not comparable. I'm looking at the process you endured to get to where you are. What it took LeBron James a decade to develop. I'm talking about up here and in here. MJ had it coming into the league.
Actually, up here, MJ had to develop that too.
No, I'm not saying that MJ didn't have to develop it. I'm saying what it took LeBron, that amount of time to develop, MJ had it. In other words, do you understand that most people who cover the NBA knows that one of the reasons that LeBron James made some of the decisions that he made because he was scared to go to the free throw line? He could say whatever he wants. LeBron James was scared to go to the free throw line. He was more scared to go to the free throw line than he was scared to go against an opponent. That's what I'm talking about here. Psychologically, he could sit up there and go against Max, Marcus, or anybody else. I'll take you on, I'll take you out. He always had that kind of heart. But to go to a free throw line with nothing in front of him, with money on the line, and he's made some of those shots in the past, please don't get me wrong, but he had an innate fear.
I understand, and you've made that point before, and that's
what matters.
Okay, I think that's a valuable point to make for the audience to hear, because that illuminates like the LeBron psychology for people. I agree with that. Understand, being Magic doesn't mean you're not a killer. Magic didn't need this or this when he got to the league. As a 20-year-old, he won the chip.
But that matters.
But what I'm saying is this. Magic had Kareem to feed. There's a part of LeBron that wants to feed teammates in a way that's not Michael Jordan.
Out of time, guys.
That's more like Magic, and now he's got the big to feed.
All right, Lakers haven't made the playoffs since 2013. Frank Vogel is their fourth coach during that span. They opened up the season against the Clippers October 22nd. First Take will be in the building for that. It's been an awful